So we get the win, get the result we need. And the thing is, I've heard people talk about the results are what matter. You should be happy with the win. But let me posit this to you. You go into a restaurant, you order your food. The service is terrible. They take 20 minutes just to come get your drink order, and then 30 more minutes after that to come get your food order. The drinks don't come out for another 10 minutes, and then the food comes out. It's cold, it's got bugs in it, it's undercooked, it's terrible. The waiters and waitresses are rude to you. It's just an overall miserable experience. But you got what you wanted. You got food. So why are you mad about it? What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this has got to be one of the most frustrating wins we've had all season. And not just because it's Man U and they're in 16th place and we should be absolutely cruising past them at home. It felt like there was no impetus from us today to go win the game. I don't know what was going on. First half was awful. Like the first 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, we weren't in the game. We had like a couple of bursts out of nowhere and then a couple of clear-cut chances that hit the post or good save or a miss. But it was only like 2 or 3. The rest was all Man U. They weren't creating anything because they're not creative, because they're a terrible team, but they were dominating the game. Had all the possession. They were driving down the pitch, trying to create something, but failing. It was all Man U. They looked like they were fighting for Champions League spots while we were just sort of just cruising along to the end of the season, guys. What happened? After we started Newcastle so slow, how on earth is Maresca letting this happen again? I'll tell you why, because he put out a terrible lineup. His lineup is a joke. I do not understand. First of all, why are you benching Chalobah? He's been probably one of our better players throughout most of this second half of the season. When we've had a bad run of form, he's still been solid. Then you put Tosin in for some reason over Chalobah. He better have a knock of some kind. There's no reason he should not be starting over Tosin. And guess what? Maguire's offside goal, guess who's culpable for it? Tosin. No idea Maguire's behind him. Granted, most of our defenders do this. This is not just a Tosin issue. I don't know what our defensive coach is doing that we're still allowing this to happen about 50-something times this season. Maguire's behind him. Tosin, no idea. Nips in, gets himself a goal. We're lucky he was just barely offside. And then on top of that, why isn't Lavia playing? I talked about in the Everton match how everybody was raving about him, talking about what an amazing player he is. I didn't really see what a lot of people saw in the Everton match. But against Liverpool and a couple of times against Newcastle once we actually got going. But he's showing what he's capable of being in the midfield. He's capable of getting on the ball and turning and going at teams with pace. He likes to drive up the pitch. He likes to get us going. Caicedo can do that as well, but Caicedo, his best position is being in there and just breaking up play. So why not have both of them? And it's a simple fix. Because I know the question would be, well, who would you take out? You either take out one of the front three, of George, Neto, or Madueke. My personal choice would be Madueke because I don't like him as a player. But you take one of those guys out, move Palmer out of the 10, and kind of go with Caicedo sitting a bit deep with Fernandez and Lavia going up and back. Palmer could be out on the right because we've seen him do that before. But he doesn't do that. And even when he does finally bring Lavia on in the 80th minute, explain that to me. Explain to me how we got to 60 and we were still 0-0. We still were not really creating anything, and he still doesn't bring Lavia on. Explain that shit to me because it makes no sense whatsoever. Maresca is truly at the height of stupidity today. But he brings on Lavia for George. Okay, so we're moving Neto up top and then Palmer out to the right. No, we're not. We're going to keep Neto out to the right and put Palmer as the false 9 now because we know he does so well there, right? I mean, stupidity. It's absolute stupidity. Neto is a better false 9 than Palmer. Hell, he might be a better false 9 than George because George wasn't doing much today up there. He wasn't causing much of an issue. I think Neto could probably do a better job. How his crossing was today, I think he probably would have been better suited to not be out wide. But yeah, so the lineup already puts us a bit on the back foot because we're not starting our best defender, and then we're not starting a midfielder that's been very effective for us today. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then on top of that, like I said, the way we started, after Newcastle, after we went out there and basically sleepwalked through the first 30 minutes and gave up a goal within the first 2, you would think the idea today would be, let's go out there and let's go quickly. Let's start quickly. This Man U side, they are so vulnerable. Mentally, physically, they are very vulnerable. So let's start fast and quick. Don't even let them get into the game. But instead, we started slow, and Man U started on the front foot. They started like they were the team that had something to play for. How? How does Maresca allow that to happen? So once again, I just don't understand Maresca's lineup. I don't understand the tactics. We were so negative today. For the first 20 to 30 minutes, hell, actually for the first half, there was no desire to go forward. It was negative, it was backwards, it was slow, it was dull. It was so easy for Man U to play against us today because they didn't even have to get out of first gear because we were not even out of park. We were just stuck. We couldn't go anywhere. I think the most damning moment in the first half to show why Maresca's tactics are absolutely stupid was when we win the ball back. I don't remember who poked it off. I think it might have been Caicedo. We win it back and it goes to George. And he's got so much space. He's got all this space if he just turns and goes. But clearly the instruction was, hey, just keep going backwards with it. Anytime we get it up, go back, let's build from the back. Let's go back, let's build from the back. It doesn't matter where we want it, because we want it up the field so often. We were winning it in the middle fairly consistently. And we have the players to go with pace. But instead it felt like, nope, we're going to knock it back to our defenders. We're going to knock it back to our keeper, who can't play with his feet, by the way, and then we're going to build out of the back. We're going to pass it out of the back. And then pressure comes, we give it away, or we have to go long, we give it away up there because we don't have anybody with strength that can battle against Lindelof and Maguire, and they're just right back at us. It was absolutely ridiculous how we set up to play today. And again, that's on Maresca. Everybody who wants to blame Jackson for us missing out possibly on Champions League. What, have you not been paying attention for the second half of the season? Maresca's tactics have been figured out. People have figured out how to play against us. We've been losing games long before that Newcastle match. We've lost several games that we should have won, or we've drawn several games we should have won, because Maresca's an idiot. He doesn't know what players to play. He's starting Tosin over Chalobah today. He doesn't know how to set up tactically. We're constantly going backwards instead of going at this Man U defense and keeper that is absolutely awful. They are a joke, and we are constantly going backwards to our defense and a keeper that can hardly play out of the back. Why are we doing this? So anyway, Maresca rant done. He should not be here. I know it's been confirmed that his job is safe, even if we don't make Champions League, which I think is an absolute embarrassment. It's a joke. Oh, we got to stop firing managers so often. I'm sorry. If a manager has proven that he is unwilling to adapt, to change, to figure out solutions, like Maresca has multiple times this season, then I don't have confidence in him that he's going to find a way for us to win if you give him more time. Look at Ange. Ange is a great example. Oh, he started pretty well. He'll figure it out eventually. No, he's still doing the same thing. He's still making the same mistakes. Even in year 2, they are right above the relegation zone only because the bottom 3 teams have been so terrible this season. Are they not in danger of getting relegated? So maybe let's not stick with a manager who is so committed to tactics that are failing. One other note that I do want to make, just because we obviously got somebody sent off last week for a challenge that, even though everybody in the world agreed was a red card for some reason, actually I know the reason. It's because the narrative flipped and all of a sudden it was an elbow that he hit him with, even though it was clearly his forearm. Don't know how that got flipped in that way. But in my opinion, wasn't a red card. We have 2, not 1, 2 studs up challenges at the end of the game here. One is a little 50-50. You know, Cucurella going for the ball, and then Ugarte, you could tell he's more so going to try to put his foot in front of Cucurella and not let him kick the ball. It's still pretty high though, and he's still coming in with a lot of pace as well. So that one, it's borderline, but I can understand why maybe VAR looks at it and goes, you know what, yellow's fine, close to red, not quite enough though. But Heaven's challenge, what the hell? How in the hell has that not been checked? And the VAR goes, Chris Kavanagh, you need to turn in your refereeing badge because you are a joke. Because that is one of the most stonewall red card challenges I think I've seen. We have seen multiple studs up challenges on our players this season that have not been punished with a red card. You think Martinez on Palmer in the first game against Man U. You think Ndidi on Palmer when we played Leicester. Pickford on Gusto. You got 3 pretty clear studs up, catching players with studs. They're dangerous. You know, Pickford, he didn't catch him, but he still went through him and scissor tackled him. 3 dangerous challenges like that were not given reds. This is the worst of the bunch, because this is just my leg is straight. I'm going through the ball and I'm getting your leg in the process. There's no defense against that. He sees Gusto coming too. It's not like Gusto just comes out of nowhere and then his follow through catches it. No, Gusto's in front of him and he still goes studs up. I'm going to get you. And he got him right on the leg. You could even tell by the expression on his face after the challenge. You could tell he was worried. He's like, oh crap, I got him. But here, I guess, just sitting there twiddling them thumbs. I'm not going to watch this game anymore. It's kind of boring. So yeah, whatever you said, we'll just stick with that. So frustrating. But back to us, individuals today. Sanchez, I mean, not much he could have done for the goal. His passing, once again, was not great. But why are we making him pass? Why are we trying to pass out of the back with our keeper once again when that's not worked? Hello. James obviously gets himself the assist, had a pretty decent shot, But man, he was culpable for a lot of mistakes today. And a lot of it is once again down to he just plays too slow. He's got to pick up his pace. He's got to start playing quicker. I know it's his style. I know he plays so nonchalant, like he doesn't seem like he's trying, but he really is clever. It doesn't matter. If you're going to play that slow, you're going to come under pressure. People are going to pick the ball off of you. It's going to happen. You're not going to 100% get out of every challenge. And we saw today, there were several moments. Probably the worst one was when we had the free kick. And instead of just putting the ball into the box or something, he instead decides, oh, I'm gonna try to be clever on it, and then gives the ball away and sets up a counterattack for them. There's just too much about his game right now that's really frustrating, and I don't feel like we can trust him. Not just because of his injuries, I don't feel like we can trust him to play out there. Even though it's a great assist, even though it's a great shot, he's got to do more. There's more to the game than just that, than just those couple of fantastic moments from him. As far as Tosin and Colwill, I mean, both of them not great. They weren't really tested today because all they had was Hoyland, and let's be honest, that's not much of a challenge. Even then, they still had mistakes. Colwill, some mistakes on the ball, some bad clearances, some bad decisions with what to do with the ball. Tosin defensively, once again, culpable for the offside goal. Cucurella once again popping up with a goal, and I said it before, I don't know why Maresca decided at some point over the past few matches to stop having Cucurella be the one to get up the pitch. As far as the fullbacks, he's been having Caicedo step in there. He's been having James or Gusto step in there. Why not Cucurella? He's been scoring. He's been making great runs into the box consistently. Why are you not allowing him to do that anymore? Why are you making him be the one to stay back? It really doesn't make any sense if you think about it, because James is not doing well in the midfield. Gusto on the ball recently has been pathetic. Caicedo, as we saw against Newcastle, it only works sometimes to play with him at the right back inverting in. So why not, if you're not going to go with either James or Gusto staying back, why not just go with a third center back? Like, you could do Tosin and then Chalobah on that side. Why is that not an option? Why are we not using Achimpong either? He's done pretty well when he's stayed back as the third center back. But Cucurella getting his goal today, I'm pretty sure this is the first game that he's been allowed to invert into the midfield again and get up the field like we've seen him do before in a while. And he scores. Surprise, surprise. Fernandez, kind of up and down, had some good defensive challenges here and there, but also was a little weak in a couple of challenges. On the ball, maybe could have done a bit better. Some of his passes were a little overhit or behind the player. Not great from him today, but he wasn't terrible. Caicedo, on the other hand, the fact that he's not in the running for Young Player of the Season, and Palmer is, when Palmer's not had a good second half of the season, blows my mind. Because just watch Caicedo's performance today. Oh my God, the guy is phenomenal. He is an amazing midfielder. Like, I wish I could go back in time to when he first started and he was having that really bad run of games last season. I really wish I could go back to myself back then, because I could not stand him. I could not stand watching him play. I thought there was no way he was going to live up to the £100 million price tag. I wish I could go back and just kind of calm myself down and be like, look, give him some time. He'll get there. Because my God, he is easily one of the best midfielders in the world right now. And today, once again, proved it. Where everybody else is absolutely terrible in the first half, most of our best chances come from Caicedo winning the ball back and doing something with it. The winning the ball back is definitely the better side of his game, but he is so clever on the ball too. The way he spun out of the one challenge and just made his way down the pitch, created the one chance that Palmer set up for Madueke, it was just brilliant. And he kept that throughout the entire match. There was one moment he nearly nipped in ahead of, I think it was Heaven at the time, in like the 88th minute or something, and he's just making this lung-busting sprint down to try to win the ball back. I love seeing it. So having a player like Caicedo, it's the only thing that gives me hope, I think, because most of these other players, some of them, they kind of run hot and cold. Some of them are not good enough, in my opinion. Caicedo is one of the couple that we have that I look at him and go, he's world-class. You give him a couple more years, I have no doubt in my mind he could be voted as best player in the league. By far, because he is so good at what he does, and he's young. He's 23, which means he hasn't even hit his prime yet. He hasn't even found that experience that he needs to be a 100% complete player. Once he hits that point, I think he's just going to start tearing this league up. I can already see it. I'm excited. I really hope I'm not jinxing him. I really hope this is not like he's doing well now, but then he's going to run himself to death, and then next couple seasons he's going to be not quite as energetic. But man, I'm enjoying watching him. He is easily on his way to Conte Makelele levels. Onto our front four, not really much to talk about here. Palmer, I can't really blame him because we've seen this is what his games are like whenever he doesn't have a center forward in front of him that's making runs like a center forward does, drawing defenders away, opening up space for him, creating runs that he can find. He didn't have that today because George isn't making runs like a center forward does, like Jackson does. And so he's going to struggle. And we saw that throughout most of the game. Had a couple of good moments, but it's not the typical Palmer performance that we're used to seeing. Neto, I mean, his work rate was good, but God, the crosses today were just terrible. Absolutely awful. 2 back-to-back that were right at Onana. That's embarrassing. And they were driven, too. Are you shooting from there? Madueke on the left side had a couple of decent moments in the second half when we started to get going a little bit. He started to create a couple of chances, got some decent crosses in. I will say, though, is nobody going to get on his case? As much as I've seen the fan base jump on Jackson all season long for all these missed chances, all these one-on-one chances that he doesn't put away, all these clear-cut chances that he misses and stuff, are we not going to do that for Madueke? Just curious. And I know the argument's going to be, oh, Jackson's a striker, so his job is to score. Madueke is a winger. What's his job? To score and assist. Well, he doesn't really assist very often, so he should be scoring a lot. I don't remember him scoring a lot this season. And those were 2 chances today that were clear-cut and should be going in the back of the net. Fernandez as well should have, I don't care if he was offside, bury that shit. Just put it in the back of the net. That was embarrassing. Booted it almost over to the corner. Ridiculous. But Madueke, the Palmer chance was brilliant that he created. He might have been offside for that one, but it was a great ball in. Just put it in the net. Kicks it off his shin. And then the one-on-one chance, just put it in. I mean, Onana even dove the wrong way, and you put it in the crowd. That's embarrassing. So again, people want to get on Jackson's case. I expect to see the same reaction from Madueke. I know we didn't lose. I know we didn't draw, so maybe the reaction won't be as strong, but I should still see people talking about those Madueke chances should have gone in. It would have made this game so much more comfortable for us. And then George up top, not too surprised. He came on against Fulham in that position and did well, but that's late into the game. The defenders are tired. He's got a lot of energy. He's going to be running around. This is, you're starting the match up top, and the defenders are fresh. It's going to be difficult for him, especially because our whole game plan was revolved around building out of the back, which turned into we're just going to have to boot it long because we can't play under pressure. That's definitely not going to work for George because he doesn't have the size to compete with 50-50 balls in the air. So it just was not a game suited for him. As far as the subs, I mean, there's not really much to talk about because they came on so late into the game because Maresca apparently didn't want to try to change anything. But Lavia comes on and provide a little bit more energy, a little bit more stability in the midfield. I only remember a couple of moments when Man U were breaking down the pitch. Most of the time after he came on, it felt like they had to go out wide with it, which they don't have the greatest wide players in the world. And then Gusto came on pretty late, and he just basically provided some energy down the right side, so nothing really spectacular from him, but he worked hard. Obviously, now we just have one game left. It's going to be away at Forest. That's going to be a tough game. And based on what we've seen performance-wise over these past 2 matches and tactics-wise from Maresca, I'm not convinced at all that we're going to go in and we're going to get a win there. And we're going to need a win because Villa are going to go up against this Man U team that we just faced, this one that really we should be wiping the floor with. They're going to go and they're going to wipe the floor with them. And they're going to get the 3 points they need. Man City are probably going to get the 3 points they need tomorrow or Sunday or whenever they play. Or no, wait. I think they have the FA Cup this weekend, and then they play midweek. We're going to be needing the 3 points next weekend. We're going to be needing to get the job done. And I'm not convinced we're going to. Based on what I saw today, a draw's not going to be good enough. Villa are going to overtake us if we get a draw. We have to win against Forest. I don't know if we will. And that's really disappointing. After the performances we saw against Fulham, against Everton, against Liverpool, obviously Fulham don't really have much to play for. Everton were playing for a draw, but we managed to nick a win there, thanks to Jackson, by the way. So all these people want to say he's the reason we're out of the UCL. We wouldn't be even in the shout if not for his goal against Everton, so stop talking. Liverpool, they're on the beach. Mostly their B team, so not really that tough of a match. So those 3 matches maybe were not the most difficult for us, but I still felt like it gave us some momentum to really go into these final 3 matches and at least do enough to get the points we needed. But then against Newcastle, we started so slow, and then the stupid red card that the referee should not have given. And then this one, I mean, this is an embarrassing scoreline. To barely get over the line against Man U at home, that's embarrassing. So how are we going to go to Forest, who are going to be really, really desperate for 3 points? There's a lot of issues there maybe that'll help us. All the issues going on at the club right now. Maybe that'll help us because maybe there'll be some instability, but they're going to be pushing hard. They're going to be working so hard because they are going to want this more than anything. And if we're barely getting over the line against a Man U team that has nothing to play for, how are we supposed to get over the line against a Nottingham Forest team that have everything to play for? That's my frustration. So I know people are going to be upset, tell me I'm being too negative, tell me to be happy with the result, but what can I say? I'm a realist, and realistically, this was not good enough. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game today? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. Also, check out the channel. We have a lot of other reviews on here as well, some Let's Plays, so check those out if you have time. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.